everyone, welcome back to another contrast paint video, and we have for you the last miniature I've got to go in the Marvel Crisis Protocol corset, and it's Spider-Man, whose pose I do not like. I've tried to I deliberately placed him off center to try and make it look more dramatic. I think it helped a little bit, honestly, but not a pose I'm particularly pleased with, but a good opportunity to use some bright contrast paints to see what happens. So obviously he'll be having his red parts done in Blood Angels Red because it's a nice warm colour. For his blues, going to use Thalasar Blue, which we've been using a lot of with these Marvel miniatures, both the ones I did on camera and off camera. And I think we're going to start with the blue parts, just because the blue would be easier to clean up prior to adding any warmer colours. At the same time, pardon me, sorry, I'm still getting over the cold, probably also going to apply some black to his spider symbol on his chest. For the entirety of his eyes, although we'll be going over the central part with grey sear to make them, you know, the standard white. Might add some gleam to them as well. He's also got a larger symbol on his back, which I think is black as well. Don't really see him from behind that often, so I'm not actually 100% sure it's supposed to be. But the blue is also going to come around under his arms here as well. So the back insignia might be done afterwards because it'll have to wait till the blue is dry. But at the very least, get some black applied to the eyes, to the central symbol as well. But first things first, we'll be getting started with the Thalasar Blue. So a little bit of drying time later, we are ready here with Blood Angel's contrast, which is going to be used for the rest of his costume. Also on the base of the little drink cup there as well. Just quickly use some grey sear to try and tidy up around the logo a little bit. The Black Templar is going to go on that logo as well, but it needs time to dry a little bit. And the eyes will be tidied up again once the red is going on, because I worry about the red bleeding into the eye socket, which sounds a lot more gross than it is. Now, because we're doing red on the cup there as well, I can't do the Basilicum Grey at the same time on the entire base, but in the time lapse we'll probably just apply some quickly to the stone that he's standing on here, because then silver is going to have to go on the girder that's protruding out from there. I've also just noticed a bleeding bit of blue there. It needs to be cleaned up before I do the red part, but for the next time skip, red, a little bit of grey on the stone, and red on the cup. Let's see how that turns out. So here we have the red done on Spider-Man. Didn't do the rock because his foot's touching it, so I was worried about bleed, so I'll just do that after the next gap. Also, there's some gaps between the red and the blue sections, but at least on the official art there's very kind of like thick black lining on all the little parts of his armour, or well, suit. So what I'm going to try and do is carefully go over the recesses of the suit with Null Oil and to try and pick out the detail that way. Will it work? I don't know, but we'll see. So I'm not going to bother doing a time lapse of me applying the grey because that's just going to be part and parcel of the finished thing. So we'll be back in a second as I feel a sneeze coming on with the finished Spider-Man. And so more or less a little bit later we have the finished miniature, and hopefully going to stay in focus as we do ourselves the trademarked, in my head anyway, Ghetto 360 spin of Spider-Man. And the Null Oil, it made a little bit of difference to the definition of the suit, but not as much as I would like. And if you had, again, a steady hand to go over the outlines of where the armors cross over, it would look better than my efforts for sure. And the base is still drying as well, the silver with some Null Oil over the top of it. But it looks okay, and with Spider-Man's completion that is actually all of the corset done. I guess we could maybe pan out a little bit here, just a little bit. We have Spider-Man, most recently we'll have seen Red Hood, I did it! Red Skull, who refuses to be in focus no matter what I do, so actually he's, oh, there, and that's, apparently there's a sunbeam just right in there. And of course we did Iron Man on camera as well. The rest, I've been posting pictures on Twitter, but I've mostly just been doing them in my own time. Ultron, not quite in focus and very dark, Crossbones. And we've got Black Widow, Captain Marvel, Captain America, Baron Zemo, who I don't really know anything about, and Doc Ock. The assortment of characters who you'll be seeing split across villains and good guys soon in the first test game we do for Crisis Protocol. So I hope you enjoyed this video, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Ta-ta for now.